All right, I want to go over a type of trade, a risky type of trade that I have done in the past that I might be interested in trying again. I'll call it a reversion trade. Essentially, so stocks tend to want to go back to the middle. And what can happen when you get an oversold stock like this is Crocs. They missed on their earnings a little bit. It doesn't look that awful, but I'm guessing their guidance wasn't great either. But essentially, so I had a friend who created a indicator. Unfortunately, I can't really share it because it's private. He kind of combined some other codes. That's why it's private. You have to be a friend with a guy and request access to it. It's not great, but he did pick up on something that seems to work occasionally. And so what essentially happens is he's got some sort of parameters. When it's below the Bollinger Band, it's too oversold. It hits some sort of RSI and indicators that it needs to do some sort of measure move, preferably to the EMA, SMA. You want to see these green triangles on a weekly chart before you start putting in any money. And like I said, this is risky. You're buying on the downside, but the trade is that it's going to bounce at least to the EMA SMA, and then you just take your profits and run. What I don't like about this one right now is it's broken this, which is the curve smart money concepts from Lux Algo. So I have a feeling it's going to go down farther. You can see on the cipher that it still has momentum to the downside. So I think this is actually going to continue a bearish trend. However, we go to the 4-hour, and it's starting to pick up on some indicators here. Go to the day. Oops. And it's also doing that. So it's showing on the cipher there might be a day move, so maybe not a weekly move, but a day move coming up. You can see on some of these other indicators it does sometimes lag, like it just picks up that, if you bought here, it would have just kept going down. So sometimes it sparks like, a day or two after, and then sometimes, that took a whole, what is that? That took a whole month before it jumped up. So, I mean, these can be long trades. You don't want them to be long trades because that means you're going to be in the red longer and you might freak out and sell. Um, it does look like the volume on the sell was higher than average, as well as the buying here was a little above average. So that might be a good sign that they're trying to stop the bleeding to get to, they're already taking a loss, but they're trying to get back to a normal um, zone here. Now, as the days go by, the EMA and SMA will lower, so your target goal shouldn't be here. It's going to be in somewhere like this, but that could be like a $5 to $10 move. That could be a play. So I'm going to be looking at this week as a possible trade. The problem with this is you do have to be a little bit more active because, like, typically once it hits the EMA SMA, it's going to stamp out. Occasionally, I mean, obviously this made a measured move above it. And usually you can, if you've got enough accumulated, you can start selling off as it gets here and then have a couple ride and then choose a point to sell off. So this is an idea for me this week. It's a riskier one. But I do think this is oversold for the earnings that it did get. That is a lot of selling. Now, if you look at the weekly, that red candle or that red volume candle is like way bigger. Again, I still think it has weakness. So I'm not going to take a position on Monday, but I will likely start to look at nibbling if I make this move. I'm not sure I'm going to make this move. On the Lux Algo, it is trying to show that it formed a bottom, but I have seen in the past where that can break pretty easily. It's just trying to get inside the Bollinger Band now, so this zone right here is probably a good idea where that profit is. So I think 5 to 10 is a good profit. But $75, that's, if you're buying 100, it's $7,500 risk. Um, But anyways, a reversion trade is a tool you can use. I just, like I said, I think it's for the experienced, and it does have some risk, and you're likely going to be red well before you're green. But I have seen it pop, where I've made a couple grand doing those kind of trades. So I'll follow up this week to see if I follow through on that. But just wanted to introduce you to a tool that is usable. Again, I don't recommend it. It's not my favorite, but it is psychologically, traders do like to go back to the middle. So the more experience you get with these kind of trades, the better you can get at them. But anyway, see ya.